At Boulder Advocacy, we know that advocacy work, like lobbying, is important for a nonprofit's success, but it can be difficult raising money for the cause. According to the tax code, private foundations can't give money specifically designated for lobbying efforts. But there's a secret weapon you, as a public charity, can use to fund your advocacy work, including lobbying: the Project Grant Rule. If your foundation funder-to-be uses the Project Grant Rule, you must create a project budget that separates projected lobbying costs from non-lobbying costs. You must also secure multiple sources of funding for the project, not just from the private foundation using the Project Grant Rule. For example, grants from other foundations or individual donations. Now the private foundation can make a grant up to the non-lobbying expenses, meaning the foundation's grant must not exceed the non-lobbying costs of the budget. Creating a project budget that separates lobbying and non-lobbying expenses might seem tricky, but Boulder Advocacy is here to help. First, you need to know how to define lobbying. Direct lobbying happens when you communicate with a legislator or their staff and express a view on specific legislation. Grassroots lobbying is a communication with the public that expresses a view on specific legislation and contains a call to action. A call to action includes asking the public to contact their legislators, providing the public with contact information for legislators, offering tools to communicate with legislators, or naming legislators who may be persuaded to vote for or against specific legislation, or the legislator for the communications audience. While you will need to tell the private foundation how much the entire project will cost, you do not have to specify which portion of the project its grant will fund. Use Boulder Advocacy's project grant templates to provide your potential funders with all the information they need to feel confident in funding your project. For all things nonprofit lobbying, visit boulderadvocacy.org.